Thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate you breaking away from lunch. My name is Andrew Doak. I'm with Base22. My official title is Client Strategy. My wife says that's a fake made up title. So what does it actually do? Information architecture, user experience design, client management, and garbage man. I'm brought in to clean up messes. So when there's issues with clients, I'm brought in to fix them. So that's not this case. This is a brand new client that we worked with. There we go. Come on. Please. So what do we know about horses? I didn't know anything about horses. I had no idea about horses. My colleague, Mike Minardi, had a contact at the client site, and they had a need for a web design project. They were on an existing content management system, and they wanted to do some new things with it. I'm going to show you why they wanted to do new things with it, but I didn't know squat about horses. The last time I talked about horses was I was trying to convince my daughter for us to buy land, and I said, honey, if you'll move out of your district away from your friends, I'll buy you a pony. That's it. So I had no idea about horses, okay? But I did know that the company was in a huge need of some assistance. Again, this is not a sales pitch. You'll see this deck afterwards. This is our company. I don't read words off of screens, so you're welcome to, but Base22, hi. You might recognize a few of these people. These are our clients, some. And again, I'm going to go real in the weeds in some areas and very, very high level. So in doing so, you might think this guy's out of his mind. This company has no process. They're doing things willy-nilly. No, we have very structured processes. It just so happens that this client forced us to deviate from any plan we had put in place initially. So we had to adapt. We had to be flexible. But we have structure, and we abide by it. But we also change. So American Quarter Horse, beautiful animals. I actually got to ride one. They have been in existence for nearly a century, 250,000 members within the organization, about 1 million traffic weekly, mostly to .com, but also to their social channels. So their membership is dwindling. They skew very high age demographic. So I'm not gonna, you can put two together. Okay? The older they are, things happen, their membership goes down. So they were having issues not just bringing on new members, but retaining them. So, whoa, jump. Oh, you weren't supposed to do that yet. Back. Ugh, frightening. There we go. Here, I'll just do this. How's that? Okay. So we sold them on a project, okay? Initially, one project. They had light budget, aggressive timeline, and we offered to them what we could offer to them for the price. It was a solution design experience. So what we were going to do is we were going to create persona profiles for them. Big, huge, 40 different countries, types of users that access their information. They had never, ever structured them down and bucketized them into actual personas, so we did that. We were also doing a lot of research into how their business works, research into all their data, do some wireframes, do some design work with their internal team to put into place a new design structure, and launch. Tip. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is live today. This is live. You go right now, AQHA.com. That's live today. Now, I'm not going to, because I'm being recorded, go deep into the reasons why this is wrong. But this is very wrong. One test you can do is if you turn around, and if you stare at the screen, and if you blur your eyes, mentally, you're supposed to then be drawn to the main focus of the page, of the screen. I get a headache every time I do it because there's no semblance. If I broke this down, some of these things are blogs, some are ads, some are promotions, some are articles. I don't know which is which. I do know which is which, but I didn't know which is which. So, as I said, the original plan was 3 tiers deep. That's it. It was home page, child page, secondary deep, 3 levels. So templates for each one. That's it, that's all it was. And then all of that front work of the experience and of the research and of persona profiles. Lipstick on a horse, that's it. I'm not proud of that. We wanted to do more, but we were not allowed to boil the ocean. We couldn't do it. with this project. Very first one. We wanted to start small. They didn't have the resources, they didn't have the money, they didn't have the time. So we offered them what we could do for them in that amount of time. And in doing so, our goal, we like to work with our clients for a very long period of time. We like to build upon projects. We like to build trust. We like to like who we work with. And we liked working with these people. So, this is the plan. Again, I'm not going to read it, but I've already articulated it. That the structure is this is what we're going to flow through. I went off. I disappeared. I went into the weeds and started creating persona profiles. We started with 15, and then we broke them down, and down, and down, and we ended up around 6 different persona profiles, and then 3 subsets. Does everyone know what a persona profile is? Yes, no, okay. So the idea is, so let's take Jane. Jane lives in Oklahoma. Jane's 33. Jane makes anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000. Jane's education level is at a bachelor's. Jane is married. Jane is in her early 30s and has 2 small children and works part-time. Jane and all of those data points represent a large group of people that are like Jane. And so we want to market differently to Jane than we do to Bob. And so this, again, all the persona profiles, are, there's geography, there's household income. So I'm off, I'm doing this. And my other team is off in a parallel path doing all of their design work, their user interviews, and all of that. That woman right there, okay, her. I debated last night in my hotel room as I was working through this if I was actually gonna say her name. I'm not, but it is public information. You can find her on our website. But that woman right there, senior information architect, amazing person, great designer, great brain. We stole her away from a consulting firm years ago, one of the best hires I've ever made. She's amazing. She threw me into the fire. She had one job. She had one rule. You can't break the IA. You can't break the information architecture. I know it stinks. I know it's awful. You can't. Lipstick on a horse. That's what they're paid for. That's it. That's all you can do. Stop. What are you doing? Halt. Hold on. Wait. What? So this was their current architecture. And as we can see from our main navigation, very, very heavy. Lots of confusion, nomenclature. Again, information architecture is very dense. Next. So the new version. So all this is great, except for one thing. She had one job. One thing she couldn't break. She can't break the IA. She can't do it. She broke the IA. So we're on a conference call, and that woman and her team did some amazing work. They did the wireframes. I'm not gonna show you the hi-fi yet. We're doing user interviews. We're going through, and we get to a point, actually go to the next one, please. So, why are you showing us desktop? I'm sorry, what do you mean? All the users we talk to, why are you showing us desktop? Because we're building your new website. I don't use the desktop experience, I only use mobile. Okay, so let's stop. All those screens that we're building, next one. Let's go into mobile. So everything going forward there, if we could solve it on mobile, solved. Great, because the majority of their users, which we knew, use and access this information on a handheld device. Okay? So let's get back to that woman and what she did. We create all of this experience. Oh, no, go back. Oh, no, 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 yep. Okay. We get on a conference call. And I'm in the room with the clients. And we're about to just share everything we are at that point. Oh, it's fantastic. Now, there's a couple of versions of this story. One would have you believe that I knew nothing, that I went into this meeting cold, and then it was a shock, it was a slap in the face. Others believe that I knew, and I rolled the dice. And the third option is that people believe that I believe in Bigfoot. So it's one of the three. Either I knew, I didn't know, or it was Bigfoot. So we're in the conference room, and she's showing everything. And I'm getting looks from the clients. They're going, this looks awesome. This is amazing. But what does this do? Well, what this means is we've actually completely broken your entire information architecture. We've remapped your entire organization digitally. We've gone through and provided an opportunity for your users, your members, your non-members, to truly understand who you are, where the information is, and what it actually means. It's a completely new paradigm, completely huge structure. Oh, and by the way, it's going to quadruple the price of the project. 4 times! 4 times the original cost. Oh, and let's not forget the timeline. I mean, it's going to blow it all out. American Quarter Horse Association members, specifically their senior staff, salt of the earth, wonderful people, brutally honest, black and white. So I'm staring at a group of individuals, cowboy hats, very large belt buckles, fantastic cowboy boots. And I had to say to them, we've not done what you've bought. We're doing something better. What do you think? We were asked to walk out of the room. So we walked out in the hallway, and we talked amongst ourselves, and we came back in, and they said, walk us through it again. So by the early work we'd already done, we'd gained enough trust to allow them to believe in us that we believe in them, and that what we were offering them was an improvement to their process. We'd hope to do it in the future, just not right now, just not with this one project. Keep in mind, spoiler alert, I shouldn't be here today talking to all of you, because Liferay, notice, I've not mentioned Liferay once yet, so why am I here? Because as we went down this new path, we were asked to not only work with them on the whole website, but true digital strategy. So who are they? What are they? Who are they today? Where do they want to go tomorrow? So we're just not building a website, we're truly engaging with their members. We're engaging with their customers. We are talking social strategy. We're talking marketing campaigns. We're just a complete overhaul. So agency of record, they didn't have one. But we essentially became their AOR. So we start talking to them about, keep in mind, AQHA is a very complex entity, like many organizations. They have members, they have partners, they have affiliates, they have sponsors, they have ad people, they have publications, traditional and digital. They've got new users, they've got youth programs. So when we started talking to them about all the things that they wanted to do, the only way we could do is if we used Liferay. That was the only way. Mainly because of one piece, don't click, mainly because of one piece that I'll talk about in a second, but Liferay was the home run for them. Mainly because for the first time, by introducing Liferay and allowing them to, I'll just say it, audience targeting, we could take all of their sponsors, all of their partners, and we could serve up unique content to all of their different persona profiles. That alone was just jaw-dropping. Wait a minute, what? So what you're saying to me is that if I've got someone who's interested in writing, and they're coming to the website and they're reading about writing, and they go to one writing article, then they hit 2 writing articles, maybe they hit a 3rd writing article. Now all the ads are gonna be writing article specific? Yes. And you're gonna be able to track them through the experience without having to authenticate them yet? Yes. And when you authenticate them, you're gonna be able to give them even more custom content, not just ads, but true content? Yes, because Liferay allows that. So now we had to completely think about a whole different solution around, all right, well, it's in Umbraco, which is a content management system. We're going over to DXP. How do we do it? Base22 has a lot of very, very smart creative designers, information architects. Then we also have a whole lot of very smart, intelligent developers. So we are a double threat. And so when we come up with concepts and experiences and we work with the development team, they come back and they solve them for us. So we said, guys, we do not want to have them moving manually 50,000 pieces of content. AQHA.com is a deep site. We want you to help us automate this. Nothing's 100%, but they got the ball rolling. And we were able to yank out, put into Liferay with a little bit of custom development. Mega Menu. If you've been on Amazon lately, Amazon uses Mega Menu as well. Their site was so deep that Their current iteration, which you can see right now, someone didn't believe in dropdowns. I don't know why. But their current website does not have dropdowns because one person does not believe in dropdowns. That right there is madness. Always take the I out of trying to provide an experience for a client or customer. It's not about what I think, it's about what they want, what they need. And not the customers always, they're customers' customers. So the mega menu in this form allows us to, as a user, you get to go over discipline, you get to focus on racing, Bank of America Racing Challenge, and then, so without ever having to click a single button, you can see how deep you're gonna go before you get there. Their audience went bonkers for it. Oh my gosh, what? And this translates beautifully on, although it is a bit more clicks, but translates beautifully on handheld as well, that allows you to basically step through and just see where you're going before you get there. Again, you had members that had been working with this website, versions of it for years, and were like, so I can now see it down the, yes, you can. Their search was broken, our search is better. This one here, this placeholder title, again, this was designed for, if you are inside of racing, you'll have racing content. If you're inside of ranching, you'll have ranching content. Trail riding, trail riding content. So we're serving that, and that's going to be a bit more dynamic when you are actually authenticated to, and that's going to be based on actually what your interests are, which we get to do in Liferay. Language is huge. They're in 40 countries. So Liferay allows us to take the core main navigation and footer navigation and very quickly convert over to the language of choice. So we got French, Dutch, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. We're gonna go more, but right now we're not doing main content, and what Liferay is actually doing, which is interesting, is that it's grabbing dynamically other pieces of content on page and converting them over to certain titles. It's gotta be a tag thing. But so again, all a benefit. When we showed this to the international community, again, they went bonkers, because today they do have a Spanish tab, but it's very minimal content. So now their ability to actually go through, because this is let me back up. This is a huge forms business, physical forms, paper, that they put in a stamp on and mail it for horse registration. So we're working with them to try to improve that as well. So here it is. So for those of you that are, have seen it, this is the rules engine. This is what, frankly, sold them hook, line, and sinker on the whole experience, was the audience targeting. And it's a little creepy, but when we shared it with their affiliates as well as their partners, they were very, very excited, to say the least, because giving them data points, you've got Google Analytics and what have you, and you can give them reports, but trying to give them true views into user behavior, that's pretty fun. So that's where they saw a huge benefit, because they weren't really able to provide it to them prior. So you'd have an ad run for 6 months. How'd it do? Well, it got so many clicks. Okay, was it successful? Oh, we don't really know. So what we're allowed to do now is we're allowed to actually share a journey through the audience targeting, and then customize that. So now we're changing not just how ads are served, but true content. So who wants to be slapped in the face with more ads? I don't. But what is beneficial is if I'm on a site like this, go back. If I'm on a site like this, actually I can't read that, go back. There we go. If I'm on a site like this, where I've got racing, ranching, trail riding, showing, timed events. So let's just take those, all right? Each one of those probably has 1,000 pieces of content behind it. So this is a very unique experience where it covers a lot of different areas. So if I can tell an advertiser, all right, they're gonna go deep in here, and this is the kinds of ads that they're actually reacting to, great. If I can tell a user, or have a user want to live in their own world, the youth groups of the youth persona profiles and the youth that we actually spoke with absolutely love the idea of, if they're hanging around and showing, that the homepage and that their other pages all kind of morph into a tailored experience. It's all about showing for them. So they're thrilled about that. Again, it's, thank you. All right, hit me. Okay, so, not often talked about, not often discussed, is governance. Now, this is very specific to the website, but as I mentioned before, we are helping an organization transform themselves, not just with a website, but with how they're communicating with their members, how they're treating their own data. Craig Huffines, the CEO of AQHA, data is our business. There's a huge initiative that's happening right now. Oh, and second spoiler alert, the reason why this website's still live is because we're done. Our company is done with the website initiative. It's on the shelf. AQHA right now is in the process of revamping their members area and their secure area, user login area. It's built around Umbraco. So what we had to do was we had to separate out the presentation layer for Liferay, keep Umbraco, SSO, single sign-on, to then merge the two while it still lives as its own separate member area only site. And they're independent. Ken Rakicki, who's one of my colleagues, who's now leading the project, we talked to them about, well, we can go live, but we've got some throwaway work. We could bridge the gaps, so what we could do is we could link up to your existing member site and not to your new one that's not done yet, and you have a new experience. The problem is, they're completely different looking. The users would have no idea what was going on. They'd be shell-shocked. They'd see the homepage, they'd see the interior pages, they'd log in. What am I looking at? What? So, fear there, which we didn't want to own. And additionally, as we said, it's throwaway work. So they don't have to spend money for us to bridge that gap and then throw it away and change everything to relink up to their new system. So this one, our new Liferay experience is on the shelf, and we're waiting on them to pull the trigger to plug us in. So back to the governance aspect, we have been working with their marketing department as true consultants. How to communicate, how to own their marketing campaigns, how to build them, how to structure them, how to tag them, how to track them. Additionally, we've done a light consulting around staff, and then most importantly, around content. One of our founders, Ben Shoemate, was actually here last year. He spoke, and I believe he's speaking about the blueprint, if memory serves. We have a blueprint. We can talk about that another time. Around portals. Ben likes to say that content is king. If you can put content on a pedestal and make it this beautiful, amazing, consumable piece, then it will stand on its own. Steve Jobs used to like to say that if you build it and have to train someone, you built it wrong. It's a little rough. But so we're trying to change an entity, an organization who has a large amount of staff that are still answering phones, opening envelopes, keying in written documentation into systems, into a different way of doing things. And what we began to uncover was the ability to automate as much as we possibly could. But again, that just means more time, more resources, and more money. So we have been building roadmaps for them for their future. And along the way, ensuring that there is heavy, heavy influence around governance to ensure that no one takes their eye off the prize. Anyone who's done a digital project in here, presumably, once it's done, unless you are involved at the actual organization, when you step away, have you looked back in 6 months? Have you seen what happens? We have. I have. I had a client that we told them that if you break the template within the system, when you have to upgrade that system, everything will break. This is a client, which I'm sure, well, it's in the afternoon, so no, she might have one of the, okay, so you're drinking, my client. We said, if you do this, it will look great. How do you make SharePoint look great? So it'll look great, but when you have to upgrade, everything will break. And then 2 years later, they called us back, said everything broke, come back, do it again. Okay. So AQHA was a fantastic client. They let us do what we believe is the right thing for them. I'm actually doing an interview in about a half an hour with Liferay, and I'm gonna have to tell them that when it comes to, was it successful? We don't know. We do know, but we don't know because there's no, it's not out and live, so people haven't used it yet. But we have done massive amounts of focus groups. They have an annual conference that I've been to 2 years in a row now where literally, like a room like this, I would walk around and hand you my phone, hand you my tablet, I'd crack open my laptop and just, set it there and have you go through the site. Give me feedback. I mean, we did that very officially, but I was doing that like a man on the street. And the positive energy that we received around what we were doing for them is encouraging and exciting. And we couldn't have done that without Liferay. We love Liferay. We are huge fans. We're partners of Liferay. But this wasn't the project. This wasn't the Liferay project. Maybe 2 years down the line, maybe. Liferay is a Ferrari. They just needed a Yugo. I'm sorry, fine. They needed a contemporary Volkswagen. They needed something pretty, reliable. They didn't need a workhorse. They couldn't afford a workhorse until we showed them what that workhorse could help change their organization. So they're believers. They've drunk the Kool-Aid. So look at that. Questions? Who's got them? Anyway. And you don't have to have questions. That's okay if you're shy. I will still leave on a high point. No? 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 Okay. Again, thank you all very much for coming. If you're going to take anything away from this experience, Liferay is the optimal tool in our opinion, from a DXP perspective. We're partners with a few other entities, so there are some other experiences that we also sell. Base22 is technology agnostic. I probably should have said that first. We don't care what the technology is. We care what the business problem is. We care what the user problem is. So give us that. We'll write custom development. We'll do custom development. We'll use the right tool for the right project. It happens that Liferay was the absolute perfect tool for this project once we got them to approve budget and timing. So thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.